Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to Wonder, Repeat. I have Haven Waters from H2O Overland. We're going to discuss all things parenting. Hey, girly, what are you doing?
Oh, no, just hanging out with my kiddo.
And look, I love this. You're wearing the mama bear and I'm wearing the mama bear. And we totally did not plan this.
Not even planned.
I love it so much.
Yes.
And you said you just got home not too long ago?
Yes, just got back from football practice. So the Pee Wee kiddos made it to playoffs. So we are practicing Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and game on Saturday.
And awesome Brandon dad as the coach.
Oh, yeah. Dad is assistant coach.
Oh, so assistant, yeah.
Yeah, that's been fun. Weston's enjoyed it, so it's been real fun.
Now, does that eat up some of your weekends? Because I know games.
Yeah, so usually we go camping Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And now since we have football on Saturday mornings, we go camping on Saturday right after it's over. Trucks packed down right now as soon as the game is over.
I was about to say, you leave camp and then go straight out?
We leave the game and go straight out.
Or yeah.
Yeah. And then
oh my gosh.
There was actually supposed to be a game on the weekend of Rendezvous, but we did not play. So we were going to drive from Birds of Interest Center all the way back to Maumelle on Saturday and then drive back out to Birds of Interest Center. But thankfully they didn't have a game that weekend.
Goodness, that would have been crazy.
Yeah, but that's what Brandon would have done. So
that's the life of being a parent and an overlander.
Correct.
All right, so how long have you been camping, Miss Haven? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well,
I like long walks on the beach.
Oh, yeah. We're not really well, I like the beach, but we'd much rather be in the mountains. But I grew up camping with my family. We would always go to the lake. My grandpa had a boat. We would ski. We would do all the things and camp at the campsites. But in 2018, when I met Brandon, is when we started actually going backpacking and a lot more hiking and camping and things. So ever since we got together, we've been camping pretty much every weekend.
So you've always liked the outdoors. Have you camped before, like by yourself?
With groups of friends, yes. Hammocking at Birds, backpacking, things like that. Camping with our families, just not as often as we do now. But our very first date, I mean, we didn't go to the movies. We didn't go out to eat, things like that. We went kayaking and camping at the Caddo River for our first.
But he cooked you something nice for dinner, right?
When we were camping, the only thing I remember him making me is a sandwich and chips. I don't remember what we had for dinner, but I do remember he took me to get a snow cone. So,
well, that's good.
That's still the deal.
He's upgraded from the snow cone days.
Right, exactly.
He's now making you things on his scuttle.
Oh, Lord, don't get us started on that. We've upgraded so many kitchen items.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. And you just had the new little one.
Yes, this is Gatlin. He will be 3 months old on Thursday.
Okay, and for those that don't know, there was how many weekends that you didn't miss camping when you and Brandon first got married?
I think we kept up with it in 2020, I believe. And it was we went camping 53 weekends out of the year.
Yeah. So what about last year? How did y'all manage for last year?
Last year, I don't remember the exact count, but I did camp until I was 40 weeks pregnant. And then we had him at 41 weeks, and then we took him back out camping at 4 weeks old. And he's been on Rendezvous is his 5th camping trip. And
okay, so let's just reiterate what you just said. You camped until you were pregnant all the way up.
All the way up. Pretty much every weekend. I mean, Weston's birthday's in June, so we took a weekend off for his birthday party and, just little things here and there. But almost every weekend, it was either Friday, Saturday, or just Friday, or we got out all of the time.
Yeah. And so did that wear you out, or were you totally fine with it? Because I know you were cute pregnant. You were adorable.
Well, thank you. It didn't wear me out. I didn't have a rough pregnancy other than my gallbladder issue, which a lot of people know about that. But
yeah, I've had gallbladder issues and not pregnant, so I get it.
In itself, camping did not wear me out. Eventually, I made sure that Brandon took me somewhere with water, or I was not going, because he was born on July 22nd, so those hotter months were almost terrible, but we made it. Yeah, so as long as he took me to water, I was fine.
Okay, so we have a couple pictures. We were actually a part of your gender reveal.
Yes.
And this is how y'all did. You released it from a tent. I was actually up there in the tent.
In the tent releasing the balloons. Yes.
Yeah, I think I had one pop because I was like, oh crap. I just was holding them in the most awkward position ever because I didn't want one to release.
Right.
I love that so much. And that's so unique.
That was fun. We had never seen that before, and we knew we wanted to incorporate something with camping. So I told that to Brandon. He was like, yeah, that's what we're doing. I'm like, perfect. Didn't even have to talk you into it. And then we had to find a friend that was like neutral, that our parents wouldn't be badgering and our other friends wouldn't be badgering about the actual gender. So
yeah, we didn't know anybody. We were like, pick us.
Right. Party for sure. So that worked out great.
I was so excited, but I was a little sad. I really wanted it to be a girl. Like I was like really wanting, because you had also like done a little pre-test to kind of see, what it was going to be, maybe. Like it wasn't a for sure thing, it was just kind of one of those.
So it was hit or miss. And
right.
Contaminated and all kinds of stuff. So
I wanted it to be wrong.
Right. Right. So, yeah, we got 2 boys. Weston is 6, and then we got Catlin. So now we're done.
There's a great picture of Weston. And how pregnant were you then?
That was 4th of July weekend.
Oh.
So I don't know, 37, 38 weeks.
Goodness.
Yeah, that was fun. It was a beautiful weekend that weekend. Even though it was 4th of July, it was still really nice.
Yeah. So definitely, like, your love for the outdoors, you and Brandon are like best friends in that aspect.
For sure. For sure. It's definitely brought us closer together, I would say, just because we enjoy the same things. It's never like a fight, like, well, go this weekend, or, we went there last time, or I want to do this, and this, or we're pretty much on the same page with that. So that helps a lot, because I know that could be a struggle. He was always gone, or if I wanted to stay home and do this, and then we just never got to spend time together. But we both enjoy it. We're both passionate about it, and both of our kids love it. So we're just rocking on with it.
Yeah, Gatlin's been really good, and I know Weston loves it for sure.
Yeah, always asking. And, he lives in 2 separate households. So every time he comes back, he's like, where are we going camping? Or where'd you guys go camping? Or I'm sad you went without me, things like that. So we know he really enjoys it.
And he's had his own tent, right?
Yes, he slept in his own tent since he was 3. And everybody's like, why did you let him sleep in his own tent? Well, he sleeps in his own bed, and he does fine. So his tent is right next to ours. Now, we have a trailer, so he's got his own rooftop tent. And then also got a ground tent, because when I was pregnant, Brandon had bought a gazelle tent because I was worried about climbing up and down and being really big and having to get out in the middle of the night and things like that. But I ended up not using it as much for that, and Weston uses it a lot more than I do.
So you have a gazelle tent for sale. Is that what I'm hearing?
We're keeping it. We just didn't use it as much as we thought we did while I was pregnant, but we love the gazelle.
Oh yeah, I for sure love it too. So what advice do you have for the guy? That's the number one question that I get, is the guys always ask, how can I get my wife more involved if, they don't want to go in all this?
Well, my spouse, Brandon, is really, really good to me. I mean, all the time.
He's really lucky that you like all this too.
Right. I mean, I actually hear that a lot and it like warms my heart, but we're just both really passionate about it. So it's easy to do. It's not like a sacrifice that I make or anything like that. So, for one, finding the right person, I mean, just because your spouse doesn't enjoy the exact same things you do doesn't mean they're not a good spouse, but just a compromise and not making it a fight. Or if they don't want to go, just, make sure that it's okay that you go, just have your own time. But when they do go, just I don't know. Brandon spoils me when we're camping. He spoils me when we're here too, but he will literally deliver me breakfast in our tent and make me coffee before I'm even up. And part of that is because he's an early riser, and if I can sleep in, I will. So he will have already cooked breakfast, ate breakfast, had his coffee, and he'll just deliver it to me. So it's nice to have little moments like that because we don't get that during the week. And then, watching the sunsets, and we're always in beautiful places and just looking at the stars and things like that, just little bonding moments. So maybe be mindful of little opportunities you could take to maybe have your spouse enjoy being outdoors and being camping and enjoying the nature.
This is making me think that I should not enjoy the outdoors as much because then maybe Matt would do that for me. I'm just hoping.
He doesn't do it every time, but he is good about it. So that's, I mean,
Like,
even
I know he's in the other room, and I hope he's listening to this podcast because he needs to be writing this down.
Yeah, Brandon's in the bedroom. He's probably like, yeah, I just got brownie points. So
he's like, they're talking about me.
Try not to be too big, but he is really good. So
okay, so Connie actually asked, or not Connie, but Sam Johnson, sorry. It says, what is the ladies' favorite 2 camp items for the family? So what would you say that your item for the family is?
Just a camp item that we take?
Yeah.
Brandon's probably gonna laugh at this, but he had to talk me into getting a fridge for camping because I was one of the people that was like, we are not spending X amount of money on that. We can buy ice. We have ice chests.
So was Matt. That was Matt in our relationship.
Right. And it's literally right here. The fridge. We keep it in the house. But anyways, that's been a really good investment and I really enjoy that. And I know it sounds silly, but just not having to like dig in ice when we go to cook or when we go to get out or have something bust in the ice and it's just nasty. And it's funny because the way Brandon kind of talked me into this is he used our sweet precious child. He's like, we're gonna have to store when we go camping, so we need a cooler, we need this fridge, yada yada. So
I mean, I understand he's got to do what he's got to do.
Right. So he my arm and we bought a fridge, so that's been a really good investment. And
we actually have a couple fridge probably in here testing. Matt didn't want a fridge to begin with, and now he's like the review of all fridges.
Right. We came to your house, and he's like, "Do you want some popsicles? We have them in the fridge in the living room."
Yeah, we do. Some fudgesicles. They were in a dual zone. I remember which one you're talking about.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, what was your other thing?
Thing number 2. This sounds silly too, but the reason that we were able to camp for so long through all of the hot summer months is a Milwaukee fan. We use that thing more than anything. I mean, even when it's a little cooler, we still take it just in case, or just like keep the bugs off of you. Like we just have 2 batteries and we bring it, and it's the perfect thing for a rooftop tent.
So I got a Claymore fan from Artemis this weekend, I'm super pumped about that because they were out of it at one of the events that we went to at the Artemis Open House, and I was just so bummed about that. Sorry, there went Oakley. He just ran through here real quick. But anyways, Matt's in here saying I take good care of you camping. But anyways,
yeah. So Milwaukee fan has been good.
So you say the fan is the best thing. I know you, especially being pregnant, you had to take that fan. Surely.
Had to. I mean, we camped all through July. Like we had our 40-week appointment with our midwife, and then she was like, "You're good to go if you would like to go camping one more time." So we went to Grinders Ferry, and if it was not for that fan, I would have been sitting my butt on the couch in the air because it was. I mean, it's just unbearable. It's sticky. It's humid. It's just still, and I cannot sleep. You can't sleep in a rooftop tent with no airflow.
No, you can't. And we actually did one we camped at Sillamore, and same thing. Like, it was just stale air, and if we hadn't had that fan, we would have probably left.
Right. We
I would
had,
have found an Airbnb or something.
where were we? We were at Reading. We had unpacked everything. Weston, yeah, that was at Richland Creek. That was
Like,
about, yeah.
that
That
was
was
like your last camping trip, right?
one of the last ones. That was 4th of July. So that was one of the last couple of weekends. But when we went to Reading, not even pregnant, it was just hot. It was August. We had unpacked everything. We had cooked dinner. We were hanging out, and we just decided to pack everything back up and leave at like 8 o'clock at night because it was just so ridiculously miserable. So
Yeah.
that was before the fan. And
Yeah, I totally get that. But I'm glad that you're fluid enough to be like, you know what, let's go.
yeah,
It's we're not doing this.
there's no sense in tossing and turning and being miserable, worried about Weston being too hot in his tent. There's bugs everywhere. I mean, it at some point it's just miserable, and you don't enjoy it. So why suffer? But just wait till there's a better weekend. So
Exactly. And I think your video is frozen, but I can hear you just fine. I just wanted to let you know. So, speaking of discussing camping, with Weston, what advice do you have camping out with kids? Like you said, Gatlin, this past weekend at Rendezvous in the Ozarks. By the way, that was an amazing weekend. Y'all should have been there. If you weren't, there's gonna be one next year. Come. Yep. So 5 times now for Gatlin.
yes,
And who knows how many for Weston now, right?
comes for Weston. Since he was there, he went camping a little bit with Brandon before I came along, of course, but I came along when Weston had just turned 3, and we were camping. We met in August, and I think we all went on our first camping trip in like November, December. Ever since then, we've been camping every weekend that we have him. We go camping, so been camping.
Wow. So, what advice do you have for parenting and camping and doing that with? Because you have to plan, you have to pack, you have to know the food, because then that's like extra mouths. That's more fridges that you need.
Right. So planning, we let Weston bring his own toys that he wants to play with. He was an only child. Gatlin was just born, but he's still not old enough to play. So keeping a 6-year-old occupied is a job itself. So we got him like a camera to try to encourage him to like take pictures. He loves taking photos.
I love that.
Yeah, he'll just walk around camp, like even if it's with our phones, or he's like, "Hey, then will you take a picture of this?" Or just taking pictures, having him, clean up around the campsite, just keeping him busy, helping unpack everything. He's very, very helpful. So, and he's becoming to the age where he can actually help. A few weekends ago, Gatlin and I stayed home, and Brandon and Weston went camping. So Weston actually was crawling all over the truck, helping Brandon put the tent up like I usually do. So he's getting to where he can actually help. So that's awesome. But as far as packing, we're pretty minimal on that. Like we only have a Tacoma. So being a car seat, a booster seat, all of the things we need. You have to be mindful about how you pack and what you pack. So we're very minimal on clothes. We're very minimal on all of that. So he gets to bring, obviously, his clothes. He gets to bring some of his toys. But, he sleeps in his own tent. So we have all of our bedding, his bedding, everything like that. We've just kind of got it down to a science. So it's really not a job anymore. Everything has a place. Everything goes back in its place. As soon as we get home, we wash it. We put it right back.
Right.
And we keep it in containers in our laundry room, actually. And it's go right back in the truck on Friday night.
Or after the football game on Saturday.
Right, after the football game on Saturday. So a lot of people that I talk to, it seems like such a hassle to throw out your ground tent and wash all of this bedding and have all of your clothes and bring all this food, and you have 3 ice chests and you have all these things, and it's overwhelming. But once you get in the groove of what you really need and what you don't really need, it's a lot easier. And we, like I said, we have it down to a science just because we do it so often. We know it works for us. We've switched up our like kitchen setup. We've switched that up so many times.
Yeah.
Or what we make coffee in, we've switched it up so many times. And it's just, we've got to know what works for us and what we need for the kids and what we don't need for the kids. So it's just trial and error. But yes, in the beginning, it is a lot. You overpack because you never know what you need. But at the end of the day, I mean, worst case, you're coming home the next day. I mean, can you live without it for 24 hours? Probably so.
Yeah.
So just knowing what you need and what you don't need. And kids, I mean, kids are pretty minimal. I mean, he plays outside. He plays in the dirt. He plays with sticks.
Yeah.
He builds up the fire pit. He does all these things. So, I mean, just getting him in the nature and using what's around you is helpful. And then also like introducing him to all the principles of like leave no trace. Like we incorporate that. He helps pick up every time that we're at the river or at the campsite. So just getting him involved and letting him know what's important and what we do every time. So that way when he's older, then he'll know what you're supposed to do when you go to camp, or when he's taking his buddies out to all these campsites that he's been to. They're not trashing it like a lot of people do.
Yeah, you got to train them up right.
Right.
And I love that idea of giving them a camera. Like, I personally like to take pictures myself, but from a mom's perspective of giving your child, that's like a whole nother level of a memory that you can get with your kid.
Right. Just the littlest things, like look at this bug, or look at this leaf I found, or let me take a picture of you and daddy. Like, you don't get that very often. Like, usually I'm taking pictures. You saw my rendezvous post. It was a kid. Like, the whole post was this kid.
Yeah.
Used to, it was Brandon and I, or all of the rigs that we saw, or all of these things. But just usually we're taking pictures of them, and for them to take pictures of what they think is important. Or
I love that.
Like, it's just, it's cool to see their perspective.
I love that so much. So with Gatlin being a newborn, how does that, because then you have, do you take like a pack and play? Like, do you, like, what all do you take for that?
So just an example, for rendezvous, we took, okay, so when he's at camp, he usually chills out in his car seat. Like, we just put a blanket in his car seat. He sits like he does in a camp chair, basically. Or if I'm feeding him, or if I'm holding him, of course. He does get passed around a lot because he's pretty cute.
And he's pretty adorable. Yeah.
But as
when he's not being like cocooning you,
right?
Like, I wanted to take him out so bad. I was like, let me have it.
Right. That's my favorite because he's so good when he's like, I have a ring sling, so I wear him a lot, and he's so good. Like, he slept every time I saw you, or I saw Joey, or I saw Connie. Like, they're like, "Oh, what's the baby doing? He's sleeping. He's been sleeping all day long."
He had his cutest little hat on.
Yeah, it was very sunny, and Joey gave us an umbrella because it was raining so terribly.
Oh, we love Joey and Connie so much.
But as far as what to take for him, we don't bring a pack and play yet. I mean, he's not very mobile, so other than us just laying him down, like, we don't have anything that we take just yet. Sleep wise, we have what's called a Snuggle Me Organic. It's kind of like a docket tot, like just a border, like a boundary thing that he sleeps in. And we put that at my feet, so he sleeps in this little bumper pad thing, and he just sleeps there.
I've seen a picture of him, and he's had a fan on him.
Yeah. Like. His first camping trip was to Lake Washita in, what was it, August?
Matt says just lay him down in the dirt. Matt, you're a jerk. Oh, I'm going to get you off my screen.
So his first trip was to Lake Washita in August. It was so terribly hot, so we stripped him down to his diaper, and he just had the fan on him the whole time. He obviously never complained, but he just loves being outside. I think just because we're always in the nature. Like, when we were pregnant, I mean, that's just what we always did. So he just grew up not knowing any different. So
yeah,
he's just.
I can see him now, and he's got his mouth open, like, for real. Like, that kid is living the dream right now.
Right, that's what everyone says. Like, he doesn't even know half the places he's been to, but one day.
Yep, he will. So you mentioned you have a Tacoma, and so you do have to pack minimal. So when is Brandon getting you a Forerunner?
That's a very good question. So he can go ahead and type on that screen when we're getting.
Yeah, we'll take dates now. I'll pop that up
Right.
as soon as you will, or a Bronco or a Jeep. I don't
Right.
know, but you've been pretty specific. You would like a Forerunner.
I would like a Forerunner or like a Land Cruiser. I don't even want like a new one. I just want an older one that I wouldn't feel bad getting scratches on. Like I want to trail ride in it, just like we do in the Taco. But honestly, when we get a few things paid off, when I don't have a car payment, he just paid off his truck, so that is a big relief. But now that that's happened, we have everything going south. So we have a few maintenance items, and then we pay a few bills, and then hopefully in the next few years.
Yeah, I think Mama needs a Forerunner.
Yes, I do too. We need a pack mule vehicle.
Yeah, and Jeeps are not very good at that now. I did ride in a Bronco, and real quick, Sam said if we were at the Ozark thing in the past. Yes, we were. That's where we've been talking about rendezvous in the Ozarks, or we call it Rito. That's where Gatlin he went camping this weekend, and we were all there, and it rained, and it was crazy. But anyways, yeah, Jeeps. I did ride in a Bronco though this past at the Rito, and let me just tell you, I want a Bronco. Yeah. This just in. Brandon, I'm waiting on her. She has an ART AT and an awning for it already.
It's true. It's sitting on the trailer. We're ready to swap it over at any point. But
so I think he's saying that you've got the green light on the Forerunner. Right. That's what I'm reading.
If I wasn't so financially cautious, we would totally jump into that. But daycare. That's a car payment in itself. So
I mean, I'll stay home and watch Gatlin. Like I'll just quit all the jobs.
Right. That would be wonderful.
All right. So where do you like to go camping the most? I know I hear you, or I see pictures all the time at Grinders Ferry.
We go to Grinders Ferry because it's right off of Highway 65. It has service. So if we need to be available, we can deal care. Brandon says.
I know, he's like, let's do it.
So if we need cell service, or if we need to be somewhere quick, or if we need to leave, like if we're just doing like an overnight trip, then we will go to Grinders Ferry because there's always a spot. Like it's not an actual campground where you have to worry about other people being there or driving 2.5 hours and hoping that one spot's available. Like it's a gravel bar. As long as it's not flooded, you can camp pretty much anywhere. Yeah. And it's on the water. So that's a plus. But other than that, we really like going. We're in the Ozarks a lot. We actually live in Mayflower, so it's right smack dab in the middle of the Washtaws and the Ozarks.
I know, because y'all do know more of the Washtaws than we do even.
Right. We go out there and I wouldn't even say trail ride. There's not as many trails, I wouldn't say, in the Washtaws. But, we just go out and we drive. Like, we go to Hot Springs. We go through the Washtaws. Like, we just take the scenic route and kind of explore down there. But as far as camping and wheeling, we are in the Ozarks a lot. We go to Creek a lot.
What creek? What did you say? Creek. Oh, Richland. Okay.
Which everyone goes to Richland Creek now. So we kind of steered away from there. But we love being on the Buffalo. Anywhere up by Jasper and Ponca and all of the things. We just like going anywhere in the Ozarks.
I love me some Newton County. That's where Jasper and Ponca are.
I love it.
Yeah. And Brandon, I don't know if you're actually watching, but we may need a SOS here in a little bit.
Right.
I see Mom getting all these positions and stuff. So where do you go, or where do you want to go next that you haven't been? Because have y'all been out west?
Well, that's what I was going to say. So the furthest I've been is Colorado, New Mexico. We made that loop when we got married. But we want to go to the Grand Canyon next year. Whether that'll happen, I'm sure Brandon's going to say yes. He's pooping.
Are y'all going to hike down in the Grand Canyon? Because I know you can take that whole thing.
We would probably just ride on the trails and things like that around the area.
Okay.
But With that, I mean, I would love to go to the Grand Canyon, and we probably will. But it's just, if it wasn't so dang far away, just
I
drive.
know.
And especially with this little nugget, driving that far is going to be interesting. It's definitely manageable, but we'll just have to see. That's what we plan on going. That's where we plan on going. Hopefully, 2022.
I've never been to the Grand Canyon either. And I think I've been to what do they call it? The Ozarks Grand Canyon that's there in Jasper.
Oh, Grand Canyon?
Yeah. I've seen that and everything, but I hear it's a little bigger.
Right, just a little bit.
Yeah, and I want to go to Yosemite too. I know that that's very touristy from what I've heard, but I really would like to go just to see out that way. And Glacier, and there's just so many places.
There's so much. And I mean, if it wasn't for our kiddos being in school,
Mm-hmm.
all of our situation with Weston, we would probably not be in Arkansas. So
Yeah.
we would just, I mean, our ultimate goal, we would love to get a van, and we would love to travel, and we would love to, I mean, not have a permanent residence. We would just like to go, like to be gone, see new things, just live out, go anywhere we want to.
Y'all would be hippies down by the river.
For sure. So.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes.
So while you're out camping, you're the navigator.
Yes.
You do. So do you?
Pocahontas.
He what?
Calls me Pocahontas.
I'm gonna start calling you Pocahontas. Do you have a little raccoon?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! I just looked down and I saw my little Post-its. It's a raccoon. That's
goodness.
So, anyways, do you use Gaia or do you use another mapping service?
We use Gaia primarily. I'm very particular on Gaia. At first, we had no clue how to use it, and it's very overwhelming and confusing.
It is.
We just played with it. We watched Matt's videos. I mean, we weren't super good friends with you guys at that point when we were just kind of into it. So we were just winging it. And I mean, we went places. We would mark our trails. We would mark waterfalls, points of interest, anything we wanted to go back to. But over the years, we've just become so familiar with it. It's kind of just second nature. And
the more you use it, I think the better it gets. But I've never watched one of Matt's videos. I pull up Lifestyle Overland and look at Gaia.
Burn. But yeah, Brandon, the way we pick campsites, he'll just look on Google Maps and be like, "Oh, there's a clearing that looks like it's on the creek."
That's exactly what Matt does. I do know that.
So he gets a general area, and then we go into Gaia. I'm like, "Oh, well, we've been there before, or we've been past that road," because I have every single trail that we've ever been on marked. And it's overwhelming for Brandon to look at it, because it's red line, blue line, green line, orange line, yellow line. But
it looks like a bunch of spaghetti is what Matt calls it.
I feel more comfortable knowing that we've been here before, or that someone has been on this trail before.
Caitlin's face right now is cracking me up. I'm sorry. He's like,
again.
He's got this big old face ooh, we're talking about going camping.
Right. So, yeah,
either that or he's going poop. We don't know.
That's definitely a possibility. But yes, Gaia is definitely our number one. It gets us most places.
So you pre-plan? Do you pre-plan the trip before you go, or do you kind of go and then you look at a campsite and you say, I want to get here, and then kind of follow to that, or do you just go?
So we kind of just pick a general area. Like I mentioned earlier, especially in the more popular season of camping, you might go to one campsite and it's taken. So you have to have a plan B, C, and D to know where else we could go, or what other area are we going to jump over to, or just something like that. So we just normally pick a general area. And then, if we've been there before, we might branch off and explore a different route to get there. But we don't ever, plan too much. We kind of just keep it open-ended. That way,
you're not locked in.
Go with the flow, yeah.
Okay, so Sam, I thought you were joking because you said Gaia. So Gaia it's GAIA, and it's the navigation tool. It's an app. I see that you asked. It is not cell signal dependent, but it's a standalone GPS you can download offline maps. Basically, you need a plan whenever you do have service, obviously, just to see the layers. Gaia is its own huge system of how to plan off-road hiking maps, and it also has different layers, so then you can see where you're going that's legal, and you can also use it for like things like if you're a photographer for light pollution. Sometimes it'll tell you if you have cell phone. There's just so much with Gaia, but it's a navigation device that we use, kind of like Apple Maps or Google Maps, but like much more detailed. But Matt has several videos on our Ozark Overland Adventures Facebook group. You can go to that, and our YouTube. There's videos that he has for that. And Matt's actually, I don't know if I told you this, Haven, but Matt's actually like working with Gaia now to being paid to go and do all the classes he does and stuff. So that's been pretty cool.
That's perfect because he's the one to go to for sure.
Yeah, he definitely does all of our planning. I'm more like turn left at Walmart and then you turn right at Wendy's.
Brandon always makes fun of me because I will accidentally say left and I mean right. Like, I know which direction we need to go, but like my words just don't come out right. And he's like, well, I don't understand. You're
passenger. Other passenger.
Right.
So do you drive when you go out?
No. So I much prefer to be the passenger. Brandon's honestly a better driver than I am when we're out in the woods. And for one, it's his truck. So if he just for instance, when he backed into a tree, that's on him. That's not on me. Or all things that he does. So hi, say hi to Nathan.
What's up, Haven?
So yeah, I just much prefer to sit back and let him take me places. So I mean, it's kind of a team effort, but he's definitely the driver.
So if you get your 4Runner, are you
driving?
You're gonna drive?
Yeah, for sure. He'll just drive and I'll drive the 4Runner.
Then it's you're responsible if you hit a tree.
Correct, but I probably won't do that as often as he does.
Oh, bird.
Let's just say the one time he went without me while I was X amount of weeks pregnant, he come back and needed to buy a new rear bumper. So, and now we have a bumper. So.
Yeah, and let's hope that you won't need a rear bumper.
Correct.
So do you still would like to drive though?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind driving. It's just that he's calling for his father.
Oh, Gatlin, Brandon, SOS.
I wouldn't mind driving. It's just more or less habit. I mean, he just always drives, so I just always ride.
Yeah. Listen to him.
There he is. Daddy, come get me.
Short cameo by Daddy.
Right.
And now, everybody, there is Brandon with H2O Overland.
Hey, kiddo free now.
Yay, now we can really talk.
Now you're probably hearing Gallon crying from the bedroom as Brandon tries to console him.
We'll see how long Mama can hang.
That's okay.
So whenever y'all are camping, I know I have a picture of you cooking here. Looks like you're making some fancy quesadillas.
Oh, for sure. Those are some straight up cheese quesadillas. I told you we're minimalist.
So do you like, what all do y'all like to cook whenever y'all go camping?
We cook a lot. We cook the typical, when we cook burgers, we love cooking breakfast. Brandon cooks steak all the time. We cook fried potatoes. Probably one of the I don't say coolest. I don't know. It's just not like your typical camp meal, but we made chicken and dumplings.
What?
Yeah, so we made chicken and dumplings. It was at More Expo when it was literally negative 3 degrees.
Was it the year it snowed and was so stupid cold?
Yeah, it was this past year. We camped at the river, Grinders Ferry.
Oh yeah,
Friday night, I think. And then we drove up to Springfield
Saturday morning. Yeah.
So we were camping. It was 7 degrees. It was absolutely ridiculously cold. So, anyways, we cooked chicken and dumplings that that camping trip, and it just like touched your soul because it was
Oh,
cold. You know how soup is when it's cold, and it was
yeah.
so bitterly cold, and we had hot chicken and dumplings, and it was probably the best meal.
Okay, so how did you cook that out there? Do you have like tell me you're gonna have to tell me how you did this.
Okay, so we have a jet bowl, and we have the
Okay. Oh,
pots.
so you're not using the scuttle, you're using more of the jet bowl.
Brandon uses the scuttle a lot. I
Okay.
use the jet bowl a lot.
Okay.
So I boil the chicken in the jet bowl, and then with the chicken broth, most people make homemade dumplings. I am not old fashioned. I don't know how to do that. So we
Because
just
I'm imagining you out there like getting some flour and kneading it on
no,
the side of like the
no.
tailgate of the Tacoma.
We cheat and we get the flaky biscuits, and you literally just peel the flakes like into
You break
threes.
them off, like pull apart.
Yes, and then you like boil the biscuits, and then make your
Mm-hmm.
dumplings. Add it all together. Long story short, you have chicken and dumplings, but it was super super good. It just like touched your soul. We don't
That's
do that,
so amazing.
but we cook a lot of chili, so we like having chili. It's just, I mean, especially now that it's getting cold, those types of comfort
Mm-hmm.
awesome. And we
I
cook
love.
house and take it camping with us. I cooked a pot of chili here and then took it
Oh.
so we could just have it there.
Do you ever have like leftovers or anything? Like, what
Um,
do you do with the leftovers?
so we often don't have leftovers, but I
You
mean,
make
we
all the kids eat them. Like, eat some more. Kill
it's a
Braden. Go eat some more.
lot of like chicken fajitas and like tacos and things like that. So we don't have too much leftovers when we go camping, especially when we have Weston. So it works out pretty well.
I love I love having chili. You mentioned chili, and now it's just got me thinking. Nathan made chili at Rendezvous in the Ozarks, and we had probably 4 pounds of chili left over.
Uh,
Um, and he put it in Ziploc bags, and we didn't get any. And I really wish I had some chili.
I remember last year at Rendezvous, he was putting them in his Yeti cup, or some camping trip we all went on. We were putting
Wherever
chili
you
and
can put it.
keep it for the next day. Yes, for sure.
But y'all do breakfast more than y'all do any other meal, you think?
Yes, for sure. We go through so much bacon, it's ridiculous.
So
We
do
should,
we.
yes, we should be sponsored by a bacon company.
Every
But
time we go to Kroger, Matt will go to the meat like clearance section and look for the bacon.
right, we get our bacon from like I say the deli, like where you get all of the fresh cut.
Mm-hmm.
At
Mm-hmm.
Kroger, and we get bacon from there, and it's so good, and it's
I
much
didn't know you
cheaper.
could get bacon over there. Like at
Yeah,
Kroger?
at Kroger, and it's cheaper than it's like $4.99 a pound. But if you buy it in a package, it's like $5, $6, $7, $8 for what you get. So it's Kroger bacon.
Oh.
Yes,
Maybe that's the bacon that Matt gets. I don't know. It's always back there in the clearance section, so maybe they cut too much or something.
right. I don't know, but yeah, we shop at Kroger and get all of our food and bacon. I love cooking French toast. It's so simple, but I love French
Mm-hmm.
toast. So
Yeah.
we try pancakes, but French toast is just easier for me to cook, and it's just really good. Weston, he
So do
knew.
y'all ever what
Go
were you
ahead.
saying, Weston? What?
Weston knew we were going camping at Rendezvous, but he couldn't go with us. And
Mm.
we had all this stuff laid out, and he's like, "You're cooking French toast, and I'm not gonna have any. You have to cook it."
Oh, bless his heart. Please tell me you made that baby some bacon or some French toast.
Yeah, on Saturday when he comes back. So
Good. Bless his heart. Do y'all ever stay in like hotels or do y'all always like camp?
so our hotel was paid for when we bought a rooftop tent. So that is like
Boom.
for our. I say that we went camping at. I'm sorry.
And
Well,
when you bought the third rooftop tent, what was paid for at that point?
I don't know. I don't have an answer. Shut up. We're down to 2 rooftop tents, I believe.
Oh, so are we.
We have 2 rooftop tents and a gazelle tent. But we've been through our fair share of tents. That's why we know what we like and we're sticking with it.
Yeah.
But so we eloped in Colorado at Estes Park in 2019. So we had a cabin the first few nights. We got married on a Monday. We camped Tuesday, stayed in a hotel on Wednesday in Colorado Springs, and then we camped the rest of the way. So if we're going on like a longer trip like that, obviously you want an hour, you might need to do those things like that. But overall, we camp and we stay in our rooftop tent. We went to the beach a few months ago when I was pregnant, and once we got there, we took my car as a last minute trip. We decided Thursday that we were leaving on Friday to go to the beach. So we just drove my car. But now that we have been there, we definitely would drive the truck and we would camp at somewhere near there. I mean, you can camp a lot of places down there. So
yeah, it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I know y'all stayed somewhere recently. I don't know if it was a rental or something. It was like on stilts.
That was our anniversary trip.
Okay.
Mountain View. So we knew we were having a baby in July. Our anniversary is in September. We usually go on like a week-long trip to out of state somewhere. Last year I went to the Smoky Mountains. This year,
didn't want to go too far.
Right. This year we wouldn't have the money to go because we just had a baby, and then 2, we would have a brand new baby, and then we tried to like celebrate a little earlier. So we decided on something fairly local but far enough away, and we went to Mountain View, and it was a very awesome cabin.
I want to go there.
It was like 20 foot in the air, and it honestly swayed back and forth. And Brandon's like, yeah, all buildings sway.
Okay, that's a little sketch.
It was the strangest. I was scared to sit down. Like, I was sitting on the porch drinking coffee, and I was just like, this is not okay. Like, he would text me from the bathroom. He'd be like, quit moving around so much. I'm like, this shouldn't be a problem.
What?
Else?
Yeah. And that's not exactly the place you want to go spend your anniversary or any kind of other that.
Right. It was so strange. Feeling of your feet not being on the ground. It was very odd, but it was beautiful. It was a beautiful cabin.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah, I wouldn't take
gorgeous.
It's
literally. Matt asked if you've camped in a Cabela's or a Walmart parking lot yet.
We have not done any parking lot camping. Usually we find somewhere to tuck back.
Now, hold up. You've been at Artemis.
Oh, okay. Yes, we camped at Artemis. Negative -3 weather for the episode. So cold. We looked like hobos back there with our fire pits burning and our tarps blowing everywhere. It was interesting.
But it was free.
It was free. We were very thankful.
That's what we call urban overlanding.
That was the night that we invested in our sleeping bags from Brandon went in the next morning to use the bathroom, supposedly, and he comes out with 2 boxes of sleeping bags.
Yeah.
You went in to use the bathroom, and you come out with X amount of money in sleeping bags. I was like, what happened? He's like, well, Aaron asked if we got cold, and, one thing just led to another, and now we have sleeping bags.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I don't regret that at all. We use them every time it gets cold. So
that's one thing that we've learned is the value of, those were more expensive sleeping bags. And that's where I'm kind of going with this is the value of a really good quality.
Anything.
Like you don't regret it. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Anything really.
We've tried to buy like the cheaper things and not even like super cheap, but like JetBull, for instance. Right. I'm not on board with spending $400 for pots and pans and a burner. We had a Coleman stove that worked fine.
Mm-hmm.
But once we got it, there's like no going back. It's wonderful. Like I want JetBull pots and pans for my house. And now that I said, Brandon's probably going to be like, oh, I can get those for her for Christmas. And then I use them.
You need to be saying, I want a 4Runner in the garage.
And a JetBull to go in my 4Runner.
I want all the things.
Like we've got in our kitchen, like we've got a line of all the percolators and French presses and all of the things that we use to make coffee. And all of them work. Like that's not the issue. But the JetBull press, like it's great.
So I don't do coffee.
Oh, I do.
I know. Maybe we should end this podcast now. No, I do like coffee as long as it doesn't taste like coffee. Like it has to have a lot of sugar, a lot of milk, a lot of creamer. And then if I just taste hazelnut, I'm good.
Right. I feel you. Brandon drinks his coffee black, like maybe a little sugar, but I like hazelnut creamer and I like
That's
sugar.
why he has his long beard and his hair. That's how he's got all that. I can't do it.
for sure. So I definitely don't like the bitter black coffee, but I drink
Yeah.
coffee every single day. Now more often than usual because of child.
A baby.
He wanted to party at 4 o'clock this morning, so I upgraded my Yeti to the biggest Yeti cup that we had.
You're like, we're gonna need the unleaded today.
Right.
Okay, so someone said, what are some good food containers for fresh and leftover food that's kept in the fridge, freezer, like the IceCo that you have, which by the way, everybody, that's an IceCo fridge. I know this because I know them. I don't know the size though. I thought that looks really big back there.
It is. It's a 65 quart. And fun fact, I bought it off. Okay, Brandon didn't know I was buying it. I just texted him. I'm like, hey, you're going to be really happy. He's like, why? I was like, because I just ordered you a fridge. And he's like, no, you didn't. He's like, you're going to make me cry at work. So I ordered, we'd been back and forth on this. And I just ordered a fridge literally out of nowhere because it was Amazon.
This is why you get food delivered to your tent.
Right. It was Amazon Prime Day, and they were running a heck of a deal. So we just bit the bullet and ordered it. So
yeah, which we're all about shopping local, people. So don't go crazy when you hear that. Oh my gosh, we also purchase things off Amazon. We're equal opportunity. Okay.
Correct. But as far as containers, we don't use too many containers in there. We just get like, I don't know. I mean, we just put all of our food in the containers it comes in. So I'm really not a good candidate for that question.
So do you put it like in, you think it's like the Ziploc storable things, or do you, because you said you pretty much eat it all, so you probably wouldn't know. But I know also that like Joey and Connie, they have this stuff that they have. It's like Ziploc bags, but they're like, they take their meat and they like, it's like, all of that, like storage containers.
Type thing? Is that what you're talking
So what
about?
is it called?
Are you talking about like the vacuum seals?
Yes.
Yeah, to make it like super compact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't do too much of that. I mean, we just buy like a carton of eggs and like a thing of bacon and a thing
Do
of...
you cook a whole carton of eggs when you go out?
No, I mean, we bring
Okay.
them and then we
Okay.
eat on them the next weekend or throughout the week or something. But
yeah. Mike just said the lock and locks. What is that? Is that like the Ziplocs?
Eat food for a while.
What are the lock and locks? Oh no, you'll have to clarify that, Mike.
I'm
So
not
speaking of, you mentioned winter and how all the winter, that made me think of a good question. What are you planning on doing with Gatlin this winter? You just gonna bundle him up like a little burrito?
Did you see his pictures at Rendezvous? He was wearing like this little abominable snowman outfit.
No, I didn't see that.
It's not okay. So it was just like a fleece, like onesie, like
Okay.
a sleeper thing. But I put him in that, and it was cold at Rendezvous, but it wasn't like super.
Right.
I mean,
we're gonna baby, you know.
Right. So I mean, we're of course gonna be smart. We're not gonna take him out if it's -2 degrees or whatnot. But we do want to expose him to the elements and get him used to things that we're, used to going to.
God made dirt and dirt don't hurt.
Right. So, I mean, of course, we're going to be mindful, but at the same time, he's going to go camping with us and it's going to be cold. And I mean, Weston always made it. He turned out fine, but we just have like.
I made it and I turned out fine.
I've actually started ordering them. What are they called? Buntings. It's just like little zipper.
Yeah.
Things that just go over his clothes. I've got quite a few of those in like all different.
It's like a full body suit thing.
Right. So we'll just see how it goes, I guess. I mean, of course we don't want him to get sick, but I think he will be a trooper. So
do you have an electric blanket that you can plug in?
Funny that you mentioned that. We did have an electric blanket that we used for all of 15 minutes and it started running our source down. So Brandon vetoed the electric blanket.
But it sounds like he needs a bigger source.
Well, we got the Jackery from our good buddy Nathan, so I could use it for whenever I wanted to. So we might reintroduce the electric blanket back this one.
Matt had an electric blanket that I think he may have ordered it somewhere offline. Like I don't know,
voltage or something.
But it pulled a lot of voltage.
Right. It's probably not the best. But then we have a solar panel. So my thought is, why can't you just charge it back the next day?
Yeah, and it's not that bad. Also, and yes, The only time that you probably wouldn't want to use that is if you were going to be like totally remote and you had to depend on that jackery.
Right.
But if you're going to be somewhere where you're even like, overlanding throughout the woods, like if you're not going to be in one place, of course y'all usually set up and stay for the same place. But if you're going from different, destinations, you're going to be in a vehicle that way that vehicle can charge it. So
we might try it again, but I mean, I understand it was just pulling too much, and we run our fridge and we run our lights and we run all kinds of things off of that. So, yeah, hopefully we can figure something out. But our sleeping bags do really well. We go through a lot of hot hands. We'll put them in our socks. We'll like load Weston up with the hot hands before he goes to his tent, and he's never had an issue. We'll ask him, how'd you sleep? Or, if you get too cold, let us know. And he's never, knock on wood, had an issue. So
one of the first nights that I camped with Matt, whenever we were dating, we went and we were sleeping in our hammocks. At that time, I don't even think I had an underquilt. I've since discovered underquilts, and they're amazing. Highly suggest it. Like, that changes your whole camping experience because the whole backside of you is not cold. And I didn't know what that was like. I just thought that was what you do whenever you're in a hammock. But no, you can sleep like it's in a bed.
Right.
But it like started snowing and sleeting on our rain fly. He set it up not because of the rain, because of the snow and the sleet. And so I had the hot hands down. I had it in my socks. I had it like in my pockets of the pants that I was wearing, because I was wearing pants because it was freezing. And I also had like a scarf that has batteries in it. It's like battery activated. So I had that wrapped around me. And so I got real hot.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, when we slept in on Grinders Ferry, when it was 7 degrees, it was literally 7 degrees. Weston was with us at the time, and everyone's like, why did you take that baby out there? Well, he did fine, for one, and for two, like, we all three slept in the tent, and the body heat from all of us, we were not cold in the tent. Like, it was wonderful. The hard part was getting out of the tent to cook or to
like, who's getting out first?
Right, like, unzip your window and just like talk from there. So,
or if you have to pee, like, that's just horrible.
Oh, that's the worst. And when you wear like leggings and then jogger
layers
and 3 pairs of socks and then all this stuff, and it's so hard.
And you wait until the last minute and you're about to die.
Right. Well, that was pregnant, so that's the reason that we bought it. So I wouldn't have to climb down the ladder and like pee my pants, because Brandon's not peeing in my tent.
And you're not very like, I don't know about you, but whenever you're that pregnant, like, you're a little thrown off anyways, because your body's just not in the normal shape.
Yes. So everybody's like, this is probably too much, but you're like, you squatted in the woods to go to the bathroom pregnant? Yeah.
Does a bear?
I did. I peed times in the woods. I can pee probably, I mean, it's just what we did.
I mean, I would squat on a toilet if I was at home.
Right.
So there's that. Well, this has been so much fun.
Yes, it has.
I told you to just be like FaceTiming with your friends, so you did great.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
So when are we going to go camping together? Because you always go camping, and we haven't went camping together in a very, very, very long time.
We haven't. Last time was actually the time that Brandon backed into a tree. That was a long time ago. That was at North
Was
Fork.
it?
Yes, it's been a long time. That's when we went wheeling with you guys, and we like floated
That's right.
through the water.
Is that why we haven't been camping in a long time together?
We haven't. I honestly don't know why we haven't, but we need to. You said every weekend. We're actually going camping on Thanksgiving weekend. That's another long weekend that we're going. So,
are y'all going to try to go somewhere different?
I'm not sure. Last year we camped at Wolf Pen,
Where is that at?
It's right down the road from Birds.
Oh, okay.
Redding, Birds, Wolf Pen.
Okay.
It was fun. We had like the full like fried turkey, like mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, dressing, rolls. We had the whole Thanksgiving spread.
Brandon took his mom. Like, it was like your Thanksgiving meal out in the woods.
Exactly. Yeah. We had Thanksgiving with my family, and then we left to go to the woods with his mom, and we just camped out there with a couple of her friends, had the full Thanksgiving spread. Now, granted, I was very newly pregnant, so I was throwing my guts up the whole time. But
Bless your heart.
nonetheless, it was fun.
So are
But
y'all going to try to do that with his mom this year?
yeah, we're already planning it. We don't know exactly where we want to go. We mentioned like Blanchard Springs, but we don't know. That's the first come, first serve campsite, and we don't want to drive all the way up there
Yeah.
But then again, who else goes camping on Thanksgiving? Not very many
Yeah.
people. So we'll see. It's in the works. But yes, we all need to get together and go camping sometime.
I would love that very much. Well, listen, it's been fun, and I admire the heck out of you. You are an amazing friend. You're an amazing woman. You're an amazing Christian, and amazing mom, amazing wife, and I think you deserve all the forerunners in the world.
Oh, well, thank you. Did you hear that, babe?
Yeah, you better have heard that. But no, for real, like you are a trooper, and not only do you do all the camping things while you're pregnant and squatting in the woods pregnant, you gave birth naturally at home. And I mean, we all give birth our own ways. I'm not going to say one's better than the other, but bless you, because I needed the drugs.
There were times I thought I did too, but we made it just fine.
Yeah.
But yeah,
all right.
Thanks for having me. It was a good time.
Yeah, we'll have to do this again sometime. Maybe once you get the forerunner, you like back into a tree.
Right. We'll revisit.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for watching tonight on Wonder Repeat. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.